Hello and welcome to another episode of Football Talk Podcast. My name is Ozzie. I'm your host for today's show. So we've got lots to talk about regarding match week 14. A lot of goals, especially from the Liverpool and the Manchester United matches. So I guess it's probably right that we start straight away regarding those matches. So we'll go with the Liverpool match. So where do I begin? What an amazing match for Liverpool that was. Minamino's first goal for the club. I believe it was his 1 year anniversary since he joined Liverpool as well. So fantastic goal for him. Nice goal actually, because most strikers may have shot straight away, but he had a nice little touch, made sure he had enough space, and then slotted it nicely to the bottom corner. So fantastic goal from Minamino. One thing I would like to say, not to sort of start with a negative, is so when the lineup was announced regarding his selection to the team, a lot of negative feedback from a lot of Liverpool fans, unfortunately, and I believe it was quite unjust because I know he's been here for 1 year, but technically he hasn't really played 1 year's worth of football. You know, he joined and then a couple of months later, unfortunately, we were in a global pandemic. So his career has been pretty much stop and start, and it's not really gone the way I think he would have liked, and neither would have the club. So I think as fans, sometimes we need to have a bit of patience with our new signings. And for me, whenever he's played, you know, he's probably not done 10 out of 10 performances, but you can tell he's really working hard. He presses really well for the team. And that was evident through this game as well. I think as time grew, he improved his display as well. He was pressing more. He was pretty much active in the front line as well. So for me, I feel like as fans, just give a bit of patience regarding new signings, especially for someone who's not from the league. So he's come from a different part of Europe where football's played at a slower pace. So it will take time for him to get used to that. So that's just something I wanted to say, because I didn't like the way a lot of fans were speaking about him before the game. End of the day, he's a Liverpool player. So the most we should do is just support our players, regardless if they play good or bad. You know, we regard ourselves as one big family, don't we? So let's make sure we keep that attitude going forward as well. But regarding the first half, I know the score line is pretty high here, but Crystal Palace did sort of not have a lot of shots on targets, but they did trouble us in the first half, I would say. Ayew, I remember, had a great chance where he was on goal. I thought he was going to shoot, but he sort of pulled it back for Zaha, but the ball just went behind him, so it just wasn't the right pass. He had a couple of those type of moments in the first half, and I think it affected his confidence. So from there on, I think Liverpool grew in confidence as well. So Bobby Dazzler, you know, who I like to call Firmino, had a fantastic game. His first goal. Well, let's talk in order. So Mane. So Mane had a great goal. Firmino passed it to him. He had a great touch of the ball, great turn, and just smashed it in. Fantastic, nice finish from Sadio Mane there. And then the first goal of Firmino's during the game was where Robertson, you know, always bombing down the left flank as always. Nice cross for Firmino, who had a great touch, and it was pretty much a no-look finish in the bottom corner. A lot of people in the media highlight that as their favorite goal. Don't get me wrong, I do feel like that's one of my favorite goals of the game, but I was more impressed with his second goal, where he controlled it with his right foot, took it to his left, and just dinked it over for the goalkeeper. Those are the type of goals that you expect from your traditional number 9. And, you know, the feedback for Firmino is that he doesn't score enough goals, or he can do a bit more. For me, he's such an amazing all-round player. I feel like that is an area that he can sort of not improve, because he can finish. It's just that he needs to be a bit more consistent in terms of finishing, and maybe be slightly selfish. You know, all the top strikers in any era have been known for their sort of selfishness in front of goal. So, and Mo Salah is probably prime example there, who's in the same team. So I like him to have more shots on goal, not to drop deep that much. Let the midfielders do what they have to do, because we've got a lot of creative players in our team now. So obviously we've signed Thiago, but Thiago hasn't really been prominent, unfortunately, due to injury. But you've got Curtis joining the team now, who for me has that ability where he can get the ball and he can make things happen as well. You've got Naby Keita on the bench who can do that sort of style as well in terms of dribble with the ball and bomb forward. You've got Oxlade-Chamberlain who's just come back from injury. So a lot of players are coming back from injury, which I'm quite happy about because this is a tough period for most of the Premier League teams. So good news regarding that front, I would say. And yeah, let's talk about Captain Hendo's finish as well. Nice layoff from Trent and just smashed it in the goal. Fantastic goal. He had a great performance throughout the game as well. Minamino could have got a second goal as well. But unfortunately, he just hit it wide. He probably rushed it a little bit there. But yeah, for me, it was great to see Minamino playing a bit more with a bit more of attacking flair throughout the game. So Mane was substituted around, I believe, 55th minute. And I don't think he was happy to be substituted. A lot of it has been made out online in terms of his reaction that it was a bit unnecessary. I just think he may have been promised that he would play a bit longer during the game. I think the plan was always to rest Mane because he's played consecutive games for quite a while. So at this stage, we do need to rotate our squad quite a bit. So yeah, I don't think it was anything personal to Klopp. And to be fair, I don't think he was disrespectful when he went back to the bench as well. So obviously he might have been in a bit of a bad mood, but all top athletes, they want to be playing the full 90 minutes. So it is what it is, to be honest. So I wouldn't read too much into that if I'm quite honest with you there. But yeah, so when Salah got introduced, he kind of added his mark to the game, scored a couple goals, nice curler set up by Oxlade-Chamberlain, who made his first return to the team as well. So yeah, a number of positives to take from this game. I feel like I can go on and on regarding my analysis on it, but very entertaining game. One positive that I would like to highlight is that at least we get some sort of momentum regarding our goal difference. Obviously, we had that shocking defeat early in the season, so we've kind of regained those 7 goals back into our goal difference. So we have a stronger goal difference with plus 17 now, I believe. So that's, I feel like that could be swept away in our minds that, we don't need to have that shocking defeat daunting in our head. Like we made up for it with a 7-0 win against Crystal Palace there. So, but yeah, overall good game from Liverpool. Good to see a lot of young players playing. Curtis Jones had another great game. So yeah, exciting time for Liverpool right now. So on to my next team is Manchester United and Leeds United. So yeah, this was always going to be a sort of fiery encounter, regardless if there's a big crowd there or not. Due to the rivalry they've had. It's been a long time since this match has surfaced as well. So I'm sure both fans were excited when the season calendar was published at the start, and they're like, "Yep, this is the game that we're looking forward to." So yeah, some good performance throughout the game. To be honest with you, you've got McTominay who scored a couple goals. So scored a nice goal at the start, hitting from 20 yards. Martial had a nice sort of dribble there as well. A neat through ball to McTominay, who scored again. So yeah, McTominay did really well, known for his more defensive capabilities, but surely can do box to box as well, which is a different side that I've not seen coming from a neutral, to be honest with you. And Bruno Fernandes is always consistent. Nice finish from him as well, smashed it bottom corner. And you've got Luke Shaw, who did a nice cross through the corner, and Lindelof scoring from the back post. And you've got, I quite liked Leeds' first goal actually. So the corner from Rafinha, a nice header from Cooper. Wasn't the easiest, but he made it look quite easy, to be honest. Leeds were, to be fair, I know the scoreline probably doesn't suggest it, but I love the way Leeds play, to be honest. I think a lot of people will agree with me in that regards. They're a breath of fresh air in terms of how they play, how they approach games. For some, it might be too open, but me personally, I would rather see my team playing attacking football. And, some days you'll win, some days you won't. Obviously, Manchester United is a team with quality players, so it was always going to be a daunting task to beat them during the day. But I think they should keep their heads high. They performed really well. And then Dallas as well, who scored another goal, 2 goals in 2 weeks for him. As I mentioned last week, good squad player, can play in different positions, so very useful to the team. And then Daniel James, who was at Leeds, I think he's linked to a move with them in January as well. had a good touch, scored with his left foot. I think the keeper could have done a bit better, to be honest, but we'll give Daniel James the benefit of the doubt there. And then Bruno Fernandes, or as Raul fans would like to call him, Fernandes, scored a penalty, as always, during the game. So yeah, a lot of positive from Manchester United fans regarding the game. I saw a lot of stuff online where fans were quite upbeat, to say, just to say the least there. And Roy Keane was on Sky Sports and said that he believed that United could be the best of the best and challenge Liverpool. For me, that's a slight overreaction. They have good players in their teams, don't get me wrong, but I don't think they're quite up to Liverpool's level. And that's just me being quite honest there. But it's a work in progress. You're seeing them being a bit more consistent this year, where they are getting points despite not playing the best football. But me personally, I just think Liverpool are a league above everyone this season. I know so, and considering we've had so many injuries as well, we're showing our true quality and mentality as a squad as well. So, but United will be up there end of the season, so we'll see how it goes for them. So the next match I'd like to speak to about is Everton and Arsenal. So unfortunately, another defeat for Arsenal. They've not won a game since, I believe, 1st of November, which was against Manchester United. Yeah, very, very difficult time for Arsenal fans. The first goal was an own goal by Holding. The foul that they got was careless from Davis on Maitland Niles there. So Pepe scores from the penalty spot there, and Sigurdsson's, we've seen him in the Premier League for such a long time, is known for his delivery into the box, and great header by Mina, who scored at the near post. So yeah, good performance from Everton, to be honest. They fully deserved the win. Arsenal just weren't attacking. They just weren't really pressing much. They weren't aggressive with their play. I believe they've only scored 12 goals this season, which is quite alarming, if I'm honest with you. Salah has scored 13 goals in the Premier League this season alone. So that kind of gives you a measurement of how bad Arsenal are doing. And one stat, I saw a post today where there was a stat whilst the game was being played on Sky Sports that Williams has only had one shot in 11 appearances. We're in match week 14, so that's pretty much the start of the season. He's only had one shot, which is ridiculous. For a player who's been signed, I would have thought he would have made a bit more of an impact. He's not come from a foreign league. He's been at Chelsea for a long time, so he knows what the league is about. Yeah, for me, it was always a strange signing. I believe they should have gone for a bit more of a young, up-and-coming sort of player that would have brought a bit more energy to that team, because they just lack pace in that team. They don't really stretch teams, and are very predictable with their play. For me, they're not doing enough to create goals and score goals, but at the same time, they're leaking goals at the back. So, there's been a debate saying, are they in a relegation fight? I wouldn't quite say they are, but their form is of a sort of a team that's deserved to be in the relegation zone right now, unfortunately. So looking forward to their next 5 fixtures. They've got Chelsea home, which is this week. Then they've got Brighton away, West Brom away, Crystal Palace at home, Newcastle at home, and Southampton away. So that's their next 5 fixtures. I'll be honest with you, on paper, you'd hope that they would get points against, I would say, Brighton, West Brom, and maybe nick a point at Newcastle. I think Southampton, they played them recently and they didn't succeed there. Crystal Palace are an informed team despite them losing to Liverpool. So yeah, they need to notch up some points really. As soon as they get a few points together, they'll be climbing up the league. But because that part of the bottom half is quite congested, so yeah, maybe it's if they get a win this weekend, it might change the morale within the squad, and it might help them go on to get some more points as time goes on during the congested period. But it remains to be seen, to be fair. It's not looking good. Sorry, Arsenal fans, but yeah, so just get your seatbelt. It's going to be a long season for you guys, unfortunately. So the next game I'd like to speak about is the Tottenham game. So Tottenham also lost to Liverpool in their last fixture, and they were playing against one of the other sort of rivals for the top 4 spot in Leicester City, who have been great form this season. Penalty was given after Aurier sort of barged off Fofana in the box, and as always, Mr. Reliable Jamie Vardy smashes it centrally to score the goal. Justin had another impressive game where he had a long pass for Maddison, and Maddison finished it so nicely, but it was ruled off offside. Slightly harsh, obviously, with VAR. It's like literally like half an inch, like they're just measuring that kind of way. And it was just a bit unlucky not to get that goal. It would have been a nice goal to sort of highlight his overall performance as well. Albrighton had a long pass towards Vardy, who hit it towards goal, and unfortunately hit Alderweireld for an own goal. Schmeichel had a good game as well. He made a great save towards the latter stage of the game, where Son had a shot towards a corner, and he just made a nice save to avoid any sort of consolation for Tottenham during the game. Is it a worrying time for Tottenham? I wouldn't quite say it is. They've played the current champions last week, so that was always going to be a difficult task. And they played a good Leicester team. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. Maybe Brendan Rodgers was smart regarding his tactics in terms of he knew how to get the best out of the way Tottenham play, because they're a counter-attacking team. So they probably saw little holes within their team. Like, this is the way to kind of attack them through. So shouldn't be alarm bells for Tottenham fans there, but I do think Leicester do deserve that win. So well done to Leicester there. Leicester have a tough game this week as well, actually, against Manchester United, which will be quite interesting. I'll probably speak about this later on in the show. And the other game, which was Monday Night Football, was Chelsea and West Ham. So Mount had a good game, very impressive throughout the game. He hit a nice corner and a bullet header from Thiago Silva, who sort of exceeded a lot of people's expectations, including mine. Even though I did say earlier on that I would have liked Liverpool to have signed an experienced defender like Thiago Silva, who would have been very useful in our squad. But I would have expected him to play a bit more of a bit part player for Chelsea. But he's done amazingly well. He's sort of, I think he's helping the youngsters around him as well. He's got Zuma around him. He's got a young goalkeeper behind him in Mendy as well. And they seem quite settled at the back, which is really good sign for Chelsea going forward. So, and now he scored during the game, so he's obviously helping in both aspects of the game. And the second goal was a nice pass by Muena, clever finish by Abraham, close range, and just sort of guided the ball into the bottom corner. Really nice striker's finish there. Werner had one of those games again, unfortunately, where he had a number of chances and smashed the ball out of the crossbar as well. It just wasn't happening for him. But as long as he's getting chances and he keeps trying, his luck will turn eventually. As long as the Chelsea fans keep faith in him as well, I'm sure he'll have a better season time goes on. And then the final goal was where Mount lofted the ball in the box. Mount tried to get the ball and ends up colliding with the goalkeeper more or less. And Abraham just picked up the loose ball and then slotted it very nicely into the bottom corner. So Abraham had a good game as well. Very impressive in terms of he played. So it's good to see that Chelsea have the likes of Abraham and Giroud in the squad where they can rotate them, and they both seem to be effective whenever they come on. So it's quite nice to see for Chelsea. I'm sure Chelsea fans are happy after their defeat last week, so against Wolves. So it's probably nice to be back to winning ways there. So that's my sort of match analysis for the big games last week. So let's do my sort of team of the week that I like to do every week. So let me put up the graphic for you guys. There you go. That's my team of the week. You're probably thinking, why is it all red shirts? Yeah, it's all Liverpool 11. I found it very tricky to display Wijnaldum in the team because I thought he had another good game as well. But But yeah, that's my team of the week. I'm joking, guys. This is not my team of the week. I just thought I'd do this for a bit of banter. Obviously, we won 7-0, but I wouldn't quite say that that's just justified in terms of having a full 11 as my team of the week. There were other performances that should be highlighted as well. So I'll upload my actual team of the week here. And here it is. So let's start with the goalkeeper. So Schmeichel, who I mentioned earlier on, had a good game for Leicester. Mr. Reliable, you can always count him. He makes crucial saves, but at the same time, I feel like he makes very less errors as well nowadays, which is good. I think that's happened due to age and experience as well. And he's got young players in front of him, like Fofana, who I'll speak about shortly as well. And he's really helped settle the team the way they play. And I think the way Leicester have set up as well, in terms of defensively, they don't seem to be troubled that much. I think they've got great pace on the flanks as well. So they've been very impressive this year. So Schmeichel, for me, deserves to be in the starting lineup, making a crucial save towards the end against Son there. So my left back is Robertson. I don't think that's a surprise. I know he's pretty much ever present in my team of the weeks, but I've just been so impressed by him. For me, I'll be quite honest, I think he's Liverpool's best player this season by a mile. He's just been so consistent, hardly gets injured, but the way he plays with such intensity, it's just mind-blowing, literally the way he plays. So really happy to have him in my team because we've got so many injuries, we wouldn't even have cover for him if he wasn't around. So for me, fully deserves to be in that team. And that's without having any biased opinion. If you watch Robertson play, you'll know why I keep having him in my team of the week. And my centre-back is Thiago Silva. Great game, great goal from him against West Ham yesterday as well. But he just made such a big difference to that Chelsea team. So for me, it's kind of been like a roll-up in terms of this week. But because he scored such a nice goal for us, he definitely deserves to be presented in this team of the week. And Fofana, so one of the signings I didn't know too much about, to be honest, when he first joined Leicester. I knew he was highly regarded in France, but I hadn't seen much of him in action, if I'm being honest. And he's been a fantastic signing for them. I believe he signed for around 30 million. So he came with a big fee on his back. So expectations might have been quite high for him when he joined, but he's literally playing like he's such an experienced player. He's a young guy as well. I believe he's around 19, 20. So he looks so assured on the ball, has great distribution, likes to be physical as well with his challenges. So no, fantastic signing for Leicester. I think it's been one of their shining lights this season. And I believe he had an assist as well. So yeah, fully deserves to be in the team. So as you can see, my midfield and my attack is quite adventurous. But obviously this is a team on paper. It's not a team that you'd probably play in real life. That's why I'm not a football manager. So let's start with Mane. So despite Mane only playing probably about an hour's worth of the game, I feel like he deserves to be in the team just the way he played. I loved his goal as well, where he turned and shot. It was really, really good to see. So he hasn't been in his best form in the last few weeks, but I feel like he was showing signs through the game. So for me, definitely deserves to be in the team there. Sorry, excuse me. So McTominay has to be in the team. I think one of the standout performers for Manchester United during the game against Leeds, scoring 2 goals. Has been one of those players that's quite reliable as well, I have to say. He might not have that sort of, that appeal because he's not a Brazilian player or anything like that. But you need those type of players in your squad where they don't have to start every game, but when they do play, they literally give their all to the team. And those players are very valuable to a squad. So for me, it also allows players like Fernandes to express themselves and be creative, knowing that they've got someone behind them to protect them if they need to defend as well. So a good player. He's been in great form and is showing great strides as well in the team. So fully deserves to be in the team of the week. Henderson, my captain there, yeah, fully deserves to be there as well. Amazing performance, nice goal to sort of top it off as well. Yeah, I don't speak too much about my captain there. So yeah, definitely in the team there. Anwar El Ghazi. So He scored last week as well for Aston Villa. Scored a couple of goals against. They played yesterday, didn't they? So yeah, I was quite surprised with El Ghazi because I remember watching him a couple of years ago for Ajax. I would have thought he would have made a move to one of the bigger clubs in the Premier League, to be honest. So he went to Lille and then didn't quite work out for him there. I went to Aston Villa, who were at the time a championship team. So that was a bit of a surprise move in that aspect. But maybe he was presented with the project of what's currently we're seeing right now in terms of reality and was impressed. So, but in the team, very, very good player, very reliable, has great flair, can stretch teams as well with pace, has great trickery around him as well. So yeah, he's been quite important for them in terms of winning important goals for them, scoring a penalty as well. So yeah, definitely deserves to be in the team, I believe, this week. And my front three, Martial had a couple assists as well. He's been in and out of the team, but he's a tricky one because I do feel like he can be quite inconsistent. But I think the way he played, you have to give him his plaudits there. He did really well during the game. Probably could have got some goals for himself as well. But yeah, deserves to be in the team. Bobby Firmino scored 2 goals, continuing his form. I'm loving the variation of goals that he's scoring. So last week he scored a bullet header. This week he scored a no-look pass, which is his trademark. No-look goals and passes, everything. He can just do things with his eyes closed. And his goal where he scored with his left foot, dinked it over the goalkeeper. Proper striker's finish there. So long may his form continue. I'm a big Bobby fan, so I'm hoping he'll be scoring more goals as time goes on this season. And the Egyptian king, Mo Salah, has to be in my team there. Came on as a sub, but made a big impact, scoring 2 goals. So, yeah, I couldn't rule him out there, to be honest with you. So that's my honest team of the week there. So I'm sure if my co-host was watching the show, he'd probably throwing some kind of abuse at me, thinking, why have you got all Liverpool team? But, just thought I'd do a bit of a joke there. So let's speak about some transfers that have come up recently. So this is not quite a transfer rumor, but apparently there's been some sort of rumors going around that Salah's not happy at Liverpool and is looking to leave the club in the near future. So I believe he was interviewed by an Egyptian reporter who, from what I know, is also a former player. So I saw a brief clip online, so I haven't seen the full interview. So I just saw literally about a minute's worth of the interview. And I think in terms of the questions that he was asked, he probably caught Salah a bit off guard. Speaking about interest from Real Madrid, Barcelona, would you leave Liverpool? And because I feel like he was caught a bit off guard, his answers were kind of like, let the club answer that sort of thing. Like, it's their decision in terms of where my future lies. And I think fans have taken that the wrong way. Because think about it, if you're a player and you love the club, you would, in your mind, you'd always think that I want to play here for the next 5 years or until the end of my career. But at the same time, you don't know what the club's vision is. You don't know what the club wants in the future. So with so much rumors going around I don't know if there's any truth in it, but we've got rumors linked with Mbappe and players like Sancho and Haaland. So in his head, he's probably thinking, I'm approaching close to that age, 30 now, where maybe Liverpool are thinking of refreshing the team a little bit and maybe buying a young and up-and-coming player to replace him. So he's not going to say, I want to be here until the end of my career. For him, it might just be where, you have to give a sort of a reserved answer where, let the club decide, but I'm happy to play here. I'm here to break all the records here. So for me, that shows his mentality that he's happy here and he wants to fight for honors here, which he is. He's been winning a lot of trophies with us. Obviously, going to a club like Real Madrid and Barcelona has its own appeal. But if I'm quite honest with you, they're not the same teams right now. And I don't think they will be for the next few years because they have big projects going on where they need complete real rebuilding. And it's literally like Arsenal right now. It's like that's a rebuilding project. And I think Barcelona is probably in the same kind of line. And Real Madrid probably need a few adjustments, aren't quite there into that bad of a club right now. But they're not performing to their level or their level that they have been for a number of years. So yeah. So for me, I'm personally not too sure about this, to be honest with you. I don't believe there's any truth in this rumor whatsoever. I actually read something today where reliable journalists from Liverpool have said that there's possible talks of contract extensions with Salah. So I don't think this was a tactic on his behalf to try and get improved sort of salary increase or better terms in his contract. I generally think he was just caught off guard with that interview, and things can be taken out of context with interviews. That's been evident in the past. So yeah, so Liverpool fans, I wouldn't be too alarmed right now. I think he's here to stay. So yeah, I wouldn't be alarmed by it too much, to be honest with you. So another interesting rumor that's come out is Memphis Depay to Liverpool. To be fair, he's not just linked to Liverpool, he's linked to a number of clubs because he's got 6 months left in his contract. And I believe he's valued at 5 million, which is really, really cheap in this day and age. Would I take him to Liverpool? For me, as a player, has unbelievable ability, technical ability, can score different types of goals, free kick specialist as well, can score penalties. He scored a great goal on the weekend as well. Scored a Panenka as well, which was quite nice to see. He's had quite a serious injury last season where I feel like he has slightly affected his pace. He's not as quick as he used to be for when he was playing for PSV or even Manchester United. So I know a lot of Liverpool fans will have that concern that he used to play for Manchester United, so why would we go for a Manchester United reject, for example? For me, he went there at a young age, but it's probably arguable to say that Salah was a Chelsea reject, and so was Kevin De Bruyne. And look how their careers have panned out. So never look at that kind of past affiliation because they've moved on different clubs. So you have to kind of review them as to how they're currently playing. And he's a star of the Lyon team and has been for a number of years. The only thing I would say is that there's a lot of strong rumors going around that Origi will be leaving. I believe it's imminent. Not sure if it's 100% agreed, but there are talks that he will be leaving in January for definite. So obviously that allows a gap in the squad that needs to be filled. Traditionally, Origi is a number 9, but the way he's been deployed in the team, he's played more out wide, left, right, and has played up front on occasions, but it hasn't been that prominent, if I'm quite honest. So it's a tricky one. Like, I would prefer to sign a player that has a lot more pace and is more of a traditional winger, as it would be a different type of player to have in the squad. But in terms of his quality, I don't think you can doubt it. And for 5 million, it's a no-brainer for me. So I have to say, I'll probably give that move a thumbs up. 5 million, I know it's not a lot of money, even if he plays for a couple of years. I think he'll have a good role to play in the team. It'll be interesting to see where he would play. So I'd probably play him as sort of rotational to Firmino and possibly Mane, with Jota playing on the right as well or on the left. So it'll just be a thing where whatever team we play against will will place players depending on the opposition to know tactically how they'll fit in. So I wouldn't be disappointed if we sign Memphis. I do believe he's a good player. Will it happen? Remains to be seen, but I'd probably give it a thumbs up if there was genuine interest from the club. So the next rumor that we have is Bissouma to Manchester United. So, excuse me. So Bissouma has been linked to a number of clubs, actually. So Liverpool have been one of the clubs as well. He's been regarded as a possible replacement for Gini Wijnaldum. So I don't know if there's any truth in that. But to say if Bissouma to Manchester United would be a good move, I think it would be, to be fair. I think he'll definitely add some different abilities to what they currently have. So they predominantly play Fred, McTominay, or Matic as DMs. He'll bring something different to that team, where I think he'll bring a lot more energy to that team because he likes to go forward and he's got a good shot on him as well, but has that sort of defensive capability as well, where he can sort of sniff attacks as well. Good tackling ability, can break play, and has good distribution as well. So 30 million is the fee reported. If I was United, I would say that's the type of player they should be going for. He might not be the sort of star name or anything like that. But the question is, do I see that happening in January? I don't. I think this is probably something that can happen in the summer, unless United place an offer that Brighton can't refuse. So at the minute, for me, it's a thumbs down, but I can see it happening in the summer because I think as the season goes on, he'll probably generate more interest, which will obviously help Brighton in terms of getting a larger fee in terms of the end of next season. So yeah, it's a no, but I think if it was to happen, he'd be a good fit at the club. So another player that's been linked for Arsenal is Isco to Arsenal. So Isco's kind of similar to Gareth Bale, where he's become, well, Gareth was at Tottenham now, but before the season started, he was sort of like the unforgotten person where wasn't really in the team that much. Like everyone knows his ability from years on. Obviously, injuries probably not helped him in the last couple of years. Do I feel like it would be a good sign for Arsenal? Of course. He's still a quality player. But if I'm being quite honest with you, I don't see him joining Arsenal. It would make no sense for him to leave Arsenal, to leave Real Madrid to come to Arsenal right now, where they're towards the bottom of the league. And even though he might not be getting a game time in Real Madrid, he'd probably wait until next summer, where he'll maybe get interest from a different type of club that are challenging for Europe, and it might have more of an appeal then. So for me, it's a thumbs down. I don't see that happening at all. Sorry, Arsenal fans, but yeah, I don't see that happening. But yeah, so that's our sort of transfer rumor roundup there. Fantasy football. So I had a much better week. So I got 79 points, and I thought maybe I'll be top because I got some good points there. I made Salah my captain. So when the match started, I was like, oh no, I should have made someone else. Maybe Mane, because I've got Mane in my team as well. Maybe I should have made Mane my captain. But thankfully, he came on and scored a couple of goals. So I was like, phew, good decision there that I made him my captain. But there was one gentleman in our league who had an amazing week, to be honest with you. And he goes by the name of Azeez, who scored 103 points this week. I think he's the first one who's got triple figures in our league, because I don't remember seeing anyone else with that high score. So well done, Tayo. That's pretty amazing. Might have to try and contact you, get some tips on what you did to get those points. But yeah, well done. Really, really good week for you. So we're close to wrapping up the show. So we've got two big games coming up in match week 15. So we've got Arsenal versus Chelsea. So as I said earlier on in the show, Arsenal need to get some points to try and help improve their position in the league. If I'm being honest with you, I don't see them winning this game. I think Chelsea have returned to form. Obviously, they had that loss against Wolves last week, but they beat West Ham emphatically, and I think they're just on the up right now. So for me, I can see it being like a 2-0, 3-0 to Chelsea, unfortunately. Another game that's pretty important regarding the top four challenge is Leicester versus Manchester United. This will be a good game to watch for the neutrals, but a very difficult game for both teams, I think. I'll probably think it'll be a draw. I can see it being a 1-1. I don't see there being too many goals, as I think United would probably score first and try and not play on the counter, but sort of have a position where they're a bit more compact and make sure that Leicester aren't attacking as much, because they've got a lot of pace in that team. They've got Justin on the right wing. They've got Madison, who has great dribbling ability, can break defenses with his passes. Vardy, I believe, was injured, but I'm not sure if he'll be fit enough for this game. but you never know. They've got enough quality in their team to trouble Manchester United. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that goes for them. But yeah, so that wraps us up for today. I hope you've enjoyed the show. We will be back on Sunday as match week 15 will end. I think all the matches have been played on Boxing Day. So if I haven't spoken to you before, then I'd like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas. I know everyone in the UK, some parts are in tier 4, so not much going into the socializing with family or friends. So it's important just to sort of enjoy this time that we have at home, I guess, and relax, recoup, and enjoy the time with your family. And enjoy the football this weekend as well. So we'll be back this Sunday. We'll be at a later time at 10 p.m. So hopefully I shall see you guys soon. So stay safe and see you on Sunday.